It just shows you everything that you've been able to do and when's the last time it was updated. If you wanted to hit that green action button, it would just resync everything for you. Hit that back bar or the arrow to go back to that screen. You also have an order submission status. We don't have any orders that are intending to be done, but once you did, it will tell you that, yep, these are the orders that you have placed and they are available to look at. Go ahead and hit that back button again. And then you have a configuration information. This is very helpful. When you ever have a problem with your phone and IT asks you who you are and what you do, this is what gives them all that information so they know exactly where what phone and what ID that they need to concentrate on. That back button. And go back up to the toolbox. And as that toolbox, as you see, we can go into our daily summary. If we go into daily summary right now, you have 4 different options that you're going to be able to look at. If you look at the stores, they'll tell you what stores you've serviced. We haven't done any of them yet, so it's not going to show up on anything. Same as the orders. SVT, the scan-based training, which we don't really incorporate into our system now, but we will soon. But those, all your SVT stores are on that, and any collections you do will also be listed. To get back to the main screen, just hit your toolbox again. When we get down to the sellable inventory, the return inventory, and that inventory audit, we're going to bounce back to that, but we're going to go back into just into your route itself. So hit route. Again, hit the OK to get out of the warning. And then we look at this. This is our basically, it's the same thing as what your route screen would look like now. The only difference is if you touch a store, any store, doesn't matter if it's the first one, second one, third one, all you're going to do is get a visit info. It's just the information on the store itself. You can't do anything. Okay, so just hide that. Go up and hit those 3 dots up the side. We call those the bullets, the 3 bullets. That all that does is it's going to be able to tell you what your route was yesterday, what it's going to be today, tomorrow. If we hit on next week, it's going to advance that route so you know what you're going to be doing next week. If you go up there again and hit it, and if you wanted to go 2 weeks, the dev isn't going to go 2 weeks out. Okay, so, but it would, if there was a route information 2 weeks from now, it would give you that information, but it could tell you where you're going to be throughout the week. Go ahead and hit it back on today, so it'll bring it back up to the top. Now the other button on this is you'll see that green arrow in the lower right-hand button. We refer to that as the action button. So every time we call that, you can hit it as, you can refer to it as a go, but most people will refer to that as an action button. And for us to go any farther, we have got no choice but to hit the action button. Okay, this brings up your your GPS. Okay, it's all geo-fenced in. If you look at that, down at the bottom, it tells you how far we're going to get to the next door. Okay, and it also tells you the accuracy of it. So we got 1,459 miles to get to our next door. Once we get to within 53 feet of it, your phone will recognize that you are there. And it's just like your phone now, except for if you hit the navigate to, it'll take you to the store. And it just uses the GPS, and just like anything else, and as you get on it, we're not going to punch on it to get us there, but otherwise we won't be there until tomorrow. Go ahead and hit that back button back. If you hit that teardrop up there, again, it just tells you, gives you a rough estimation, just going to show it on a map. Point A to point B. That's all it does for you, so you can get so you can see where you're going. Now we're going to go up and hit those the 3 bullets again. We're going to override the GPS. Once you override that GPS, it's going to ask you for an excuse. But if you hit that toolbox up there, the 3 lines, it's got a couple excuses already there for you. And that's what we're going to be using today, is just a couple excuses. And we're going to say my GPS isn't working. So we're going to hit on that. And you see your action button now has a check mark in it. So that means, yep, you're okay. Advance to the next screen. When you get in here, you're going to look at 2 different things. We have a DSD service or an MCON cards. Okay, we'll get back to the MCON cards in a second, but we're going to go ahead and do the DSD service. So once you hit that DSD service, this is how you start your service on your stores. So we're going to do credits first, like everybody should be doing credits first. And this is where the part of it is going to get different for all of us, okay? Because we have to get used to the way we actually use the phone, okay? So if we hit that plus button or your action button, it's going to tell you how the different ways we can actually pick out product to scan in, scan out, or how to credit it out. So if you look at it, and it's going to be very hard for you guys to look at, but it brings up a wide variety. It brings up 6 different options. On the top one, it's SKUs, or what we use as far as our line item numbers. You also can use a UPC code. You can also use a scanner. You can use the camera. You can use product name, or what we will be getting into, but we don't have availability to us yet, is the POG, and that's your planogram. So a lot of these stores, especially when you get in SPT, you'll be able to do this and order a store by POG. But for all purposes that we're going to use right now, we're going to always use the SKU. So we're going to hit that top one, and it brings up what you have in your inventory that should be available for credit, okay? Now, again, you can use it by the number, or you can scroll down and just pick an item, okay? We're just going to pick an item, the top item, and we're going to punch it up. And we're going to return these lollipops. We got one that's going back. We can just do that. We can scroll down, and you can do it that way. Or if you press a long press, and once you press a long press, it'll actually bring up a 10 key to where you can enter in more. But we're just going to say we got 4, hit add, and it brings it up. It tells you that that's what we're doing. We're going to add another item for return. Any item, yeah, that looks like we're going to return 2 of those. And there you go. Now, say, for instance, you put something there and it was by mistake. You can actually go up to the item, do a long press on it, and it's going to bring up a message. Do you want to delete this? Or it should.
Because we're on the computer, Daran, we can't do that.
Okay,
Well,
gotcha. All right. Well, it would give you a screen that would say, "Do you want to go ahead and delete this item?" And that way, you could take that item off there to get the item you scanned in error. Okay. So as we go through this, and you see that these are your items that return, you look down at the bottom. It says, yes, you have 2 items or 2 lines with 8 items. $36 is your negative on it, and that's what we're going to return today. Go ahead and hit that back button. Takes you back up there, and as you notice now, you have in gray, you have 1 invoice of returns. Now these aren't finalized; they're just returns. If we hit the truck up there, go ahead, because it won't kick you out anymore.
oh, it won't? Okay.
Nope. So now you see that you have a pick ticket that you can now be able to pick or actually do. I think you can, if you hit the 3 dots of 3 bullet points, it should give you the option to print by SKU. No, all right, never mind. If you go down at the very bottom where your action button is, you'll be able to print those, okay? We're not going to print it because there's no reason to print it, but that was how you print it so that you could check it out with the store. Go ahead and hit the back button. Now we're going into to make deliveries. Go ahead and hit the delivery button, because most of our people will combine these. So, and especially as people are scanning in, but it'll show you your invoice number that's coming in. To add items again, you would hit the plus, and it would give you the choice of how you want to add your items. But we're still going to stick with the item putting in by line item number. Hit that. It'll bring up your inventory. This is your sellable inventory that you're able to put into a store. Go ahead and hit any item. That's the item that we want in. Pick the number. And again, unfortunately, because they're on a computer, if you do a long press on it, it'll bring up the 10 key so you can add where you can pick how many you want. Go ahead and pick 2 more items. And guys, I know everybody's cringing because you have to continuously hit that skew button every time you want to hit something or enter something in. If you were using your scanner on your phone, you would still have to do the same thing. We can only scan one item in, then you have to hit that little button to say you want to scan another item, okay? That is the way it is today, so it's just something that we all have to go along with. Go ahead and hit those green bullet points up there, the three bullet points again, the 3 bullets. Okay, you can actually sort the way you want your order done. So if you sort it, you can go first to last, last to first, price high to short. You are able to sort that and not tell you how you want to pick it. Now, if you hit the back button again, and you want to go out, and you'll see that right there where it says 1, you have 1 invoice that is in transition. It is not finalized yet, but if you hit the little truck up there, print it, you'll have your pick ticket. And your pick ticket will print out not only what you're bringing in, but it'll also print out your credits too. Hit the back button. See where the action button down at the very bottom where there's check mark? That'll advance you to your next screen. You've picked your product, you've gotten everything in. It'll let you preview. So we're going to preview the first of 2. If you go up on where the printer is. There you go. Yep, hit that. You'll see where it says print check-in ticket. Okay. If you hit the check-in, you can print your check-in ticket with no barcode or UPC codes, but you still have the option to print your check-in ticket with the UPC codes. Same as what we have today. But the thing that's different right now is that in order for us to get to the next screen, we have to approve the items that we are actually bringing in. You have 2 ways of doing this. You can touch either one and that'll bring it up, or you hit the 3 bullets and you say approve all. We're going to approve all items to come in. Hit the green action button. It'll be the same thing with your items that you're bringing into the store. You either approve them one at a time or go up there and approve them all. You now know that all items are approved for check-in or for final invoice. Hit your action button. Both of them are there, are highlighted in green. Everything is there. No restock. Okay, these are your credits. So you have an opportunity now to restock these credits into your truck, or just to go ahead and put them all back to Sepulpa. Okay. If we hit it, see how it's split where it says warehouse and restock? You can restock it at that point in time and put it back into your truck inventory. Hit the gray button, a check mark. And now it just shows you that you have 2 going back to Sepulpa and 2 going back into restock. If you hit the action button at the bottom, it tells you these are your credits. This is your invoice. That's your total. You have your choice of how you want to pay. If you hit account charge, it'll print up. If you want to pick cash, you can. If you pick check, you have to add the check number in. But we're going to go ahead and do that account. Hit the little pin or your green action button. Sign them. Enter your name. Have them sign it. And approve it. When you get back, you get print it. We're not going to print for any purposes. We're going to hit that cancel print, but you can print up to 5 copies. Have you printed the copies? Do you want to skip the printing? Yes, we want to skip printing. So this is what I'll ask you. If you don't want to continuously print, you'll be able to just skip the printing when necessary. When you look over to the right, you'll see the 2 buttons, or the 2 invoices are now highlighted in green. We know that they've been completed. Hit the back button. Now, because this is a dev, or because it's a testing unit, we have no choice but to go into the MCOM cards. Most of you don't mess with MCOM cards, and I know that. But because it's a testing app, we are always going to have to do this. We don't have to, if no product is needed, we're just going to hit no product needed. Once you do that, it says send no product. We're good to go. We're not going to print, even though we could. We're going to hit the back button. No print. Now, yes, exit. Okay. Now you see everything is highlighted in green. That means that this is done. You finally got through the store. Hit the back button. And what it's going to ask you too is, well, do we want to close the store? Just said, yes, close the store. Okay. So yes, there are some extra steps added in. We do have to do some redundancy, but once you do this once or twice, the redundancy will go away. You'll be able to get used to it. It'll be able to flow through it. If you don't have to do a credit, you don't have to worry about it. Don't hit the credits if you're only delivering in. I know that we're supposed to do credits first. That's why I did it that way. Okay. If you, why don't we go ahead and go into the next store? Okay, again, we're going to skip the navigation. We're going to skip everything else that goes along with it. Go up to the top. Override the GP. Skip the store visit. Why are you going to skip it? There's, again, hit that toolbox. It'll give you a couple examples why. We'll say the store is closed today. Hit the green check mark. And it'll let you go to your next store. So if we go down to, again, to the next store. And let's go ahead and skip that navigation again. And right now, if again, we're going to the DSD. We can go into a store and say, well, all right, there's nothing to do in the store. They don't want anything. No product is needed. We can do that. And just go ahead and hit no product needed. Okay, and as you see, they get one invoice, it's done. In order for us to close out a dev store, we have to get the income cards. And let's say, for instance, if you do have a store, I think there's a couple of you guys out there, go ahead and hit cancel. Go hit those income cards again. If you go in there and actually hit the items, it'll bring up income cards for you people that do have it. So you are able to process income cards for any Sprint marts out there and so on and so forth. So you are able to do it. But go ahead and hit you'd have to hit the plus button to bring it up, I think. Yep. And then it just gives you what you have for MCON cards. But go ahead and hit the back button. I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew it wasn't a dead thing. It's just there are MCON cards loaded in there. Back again. We have to close it out, sorry. And go actually pick one income card. There it is. That'll send it. Once it's all green, go ahead and back out of it. We're going to skip the printing. And you see the store is complete, even though we didn't deliver any product. If we want to go back to a store and revisit it, we'll go back and hit it and bring up the one in yellow. And it does show that it is skipped. Reopen the visit. And you can use any type of, you can type in your own excuse, but we'll use a pre-done one for us. The check mark is green now. Go ahead and hit it. We're going to skip the GPS or the navigation. Do me a favor, unmute and see. I got a message that someone can't hear. Can everybody hear all right?
Unmute all.
Click on the volume button with the red X.
Hey guys,
Can you guys hear
out there?
Once you try to get into this thing,
Hold on, wait, hold on, guys.
dial in to device or something, and the bottom one is, well, I don't know, whatever. Hit the top one, and all of a sudden you'll start hearing everything.
All right. Darren, are you there? So.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm not sure if everybody can hear. Can you unmute with just one person?
Yeah, I'll do. Well, there's a couple.
Unmute Troy.
Yeah. Let's see here. I'm going to do Chris Clement. Chris, are you there?
Miguel can hear you fine.
You can hear fine?
Yeah.
Okay, you've been hearing the whole thing?
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, it's Chris. I can hear it.
All right, sounds good. All right, I just want to make sure everybody can hear. Okay.
All right, I'm going to mute all again, and
Okay.
Darren, you might have to unmute again. I'm not sure if you guys. Okay, go ahead, Darren.
Sorry, hit the delivery invoice. Okay.
Come on.
Hit the plus, and let's go and show them how we can actually do it. Go down to the description, and just enter a description of. Start it out, and you'll see how it'll come through and reduce it to the one that it actually goes up to, just like we do now. Go ahead and pick 4 of those. Pick 2. Okay. So we got it. And again, as you see down below, it says 2 line items. 2 lines for 8 items. And again, just like anything else, if you go up and hit the three bullets up there, you can either delete or sort. Hit the back button. And hit that. Yep. And you'll see that again, that you have one, you have right now, it's just showing you that you have one invoice that's not complete. Hit the back button, and you can go out there and all of a sudden, up. But as you see, you have to hit the green button to get back into the store. It just says you're in store. Again, you have to go through the GPS to get back into the store. Hit your DSD. Okay, and again, once you want to just hit a pick ticket, you can hit the truck. The truck will bring it up so you can hit the pick ticket. Hit the printer to print it. Go ahead and hit cancel. Go back. And the main difference is that once you get into it, and if you want to finalize your invoice, you always have to hit that green check mark in the lower of the action button. Hit that green check mark. And then you have to approve the items to make sure they get on the invoice. Okay, Brenda, I know you can't hear anything, sorry. So after you guys, and then go ahead and hit the pin again to finalize it. Put the last name in. Sign it. Approve it. Print it. Hit the income card because we have to do this just to get out of the invoice. No product, do not send product. Now you can see that the invoice is complete. Once you hit the back button, yes, close it. That way you'll be able to advance to your next store. You just won't be able to skip around on your route like we can't do now. You have to take your routes in order. The thing about it, though, is that once you skip a store and go to the next store, you're able to go back, and it doesn't look like we have to call IT to go back and be able to service the store that we've skipped. If the first store you did today, that's the Scotchman 3165, actually wants you to go back to the store because you had forgotten something, you can. If you hit that Scotchman 3165, it'll ask you too, do you want to go in for and reopen for a visit? You have that choice. We have that ability now to do that without calling IT to put it back on your route. Go ahead and hide it. All right. So that's the basic income. There are a couple longer steps that we have to do this. It's just going to take time for every one of us to get used to it, to get to know that we've got these 3 extra steps that we have got to do to finish it out, and we have to approve all product. So that's the biggest change too. We just can't assume that all products has been approved to be on a store. You actually got to tell it to prove all product to be invoiced. All right, so hit those toolbox again. That takes you through your route, your support. We can look at the daily summary now. If we look at the stores, it'll show us the stores that we've done and how long it took us to do each store. If we hit the orders, it'll tell us what stores did orders. The yellows are the ones in credits. It'll give you the invoice. It'll tell you that one was a no charge. It'll tell you how much each invoice was. Go ahead and hit the. If you hit SBT, naturally we didn't do any SBT stores, so it's not going to show anything. And then we didn't have any collections, so it's not going to show anything either. All right. So now we're going to go down to, and there's going to be, again, terminology differences are a little bit different. You'll see where it says sellable inventory. Okay, well, that's the inventory that's in use. So it's just your inventory that you carry. Okay, and this is where we go in there and we're going to do transfers and that you can see. If you hit the bullet point, you'll see where you can do a transfer. You can place an order. You can check in your orders here. You can print what you have in your inventory. And now you can also sort your inventory. Now, if you look at it, let's go into and do an actual, if you look across the top, what we used to have is a drop-down button to where you could sort your inventory by category. Well, it's not a drop-down button, it's across the top. You can scan it across the top to pick out what category you want to transfer or how you want to look up your product. Or you can still scan it, but go ahead and hit all. We're going to transfer some product. Things that you're not going to be able to see on this is once you do transfer a product, it's actually a split screen. Okay, so we'll go ahead and type in and just go ahead and get it over to Greg Stoner, the one on top. From this person, go ahead and hit your green action button. And this is what we can. So if we were to transfer this, we could hit the micro USB cables in bulk. There's 3 of them. We'll take all 3.
Yeah. I'm just gonna do.
And you see how it is that if you look, you'll see that on the top side of it, it says that micro USB cable in bulk is 0 now, and now it's 3 down below. So you see where it says inventory to be transferred is telling you that it is being transferred. It's just a split green so you can see it. Hit that green action button. and it'll let you finalize the transfer. Okay, you got to sign it. So does the transferee and the transferor both have to sign it. Hit the action button, and yes, it is complete. Go ahead and back out of it. But that's so the transfers are basically saying the only screen difference is that it's done on a split screen. So you'll be seeing what you're transferring and how much he is getting transferred at the same time. Go ahead and hit those 3 bullet points or 3 bullets again. When you hit, go ahead and hit place order. Okay, this is actually no different than that. This is a little bit different than how we have to place our order today. Is all you do is you have to pick your items out to be placed. To search it, go ahead and hit search.
Oh, which one?
Hit the search. If you hit the search right underneath all, hit that little magnifying glass. I'm sorry, type in, can you guys type in from up there? Or do you have to take it offline?
Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Take away one of the 2s.
Yeah, it's not doing it.
Okay. Well, in theory, you're supposed to be able to search out your product and pick it up that way. Otherwise, you'll have to scroll down.
The top option.
And this is how we place our orders to go to Sapulpa to fulfill your warehouse needs or to place any drop-in orders. And it, again, it's broken down. If you look at the categories above, hit apparel, it'll show you all the apparel available. If you go over to As Seen on TV, that's the As Seen on TV product available. Same thing with the bath bombs. If you have those, Bic lighters, that's how, and so on and so forth. And to send it, you have to hit the green action button. It is complete. Once you send it, it gets sent to Sapulpa for fulfillment. Okay. Hit the little action button. Go ahead and go check in orders. If you had any orders that needed to be checked in, we don't have any. This is where you would do it. Okay. Then go back over to your toolbox. Go ahead and hit return inventory. As you see, we do have return inventory that is going back. This is everything that is designed to go back. We have 3 of the personalized keychains for this. And as you see, you have 12 products, 37 line items, $438.33. That's what's all going back. But if you wanted to restock any of that, just go ahead and hit restock. Again, this will take you to a split screen. You can pick your item out. It'll tell you which item needs to be, what you want to restock into your warehouse. As you see, the split screen shows that this is what you decided to put back in restock. Go ahead and restock those up. Hit your green action button. It'll ask you if you want to complete this. Go ahead and do it. That has now been restocked. We're going to cancel out of the printing. We go back and hit those 3 bullet points again. Now we just want to ship the returns. We're going to ship them. It's going to ask you, I think you need to hit those 3 bullet points again. No. So you have to prove everything that needs to be shipped.
Just go right here.
Yep. Okay, how you want to ship it? Go ahead and choose your auditor. Oh, okay. Either way. And you just tell them how many boxes that you are going to ship, just like we do now. These are the inventory returns. That's what's going to be printed on your white paper, and then your inventory of the return labels. Then you hit that to print those out too. So again, a few extra steps as you go into it. but it's the same design. We want to know how many boxes. We want to know, and then print the white printout, and then print out your labels. Then your inventory audit. You would put in the auditor would enter in the email address, and then your credentials. And as you go forward, then that audit would start to take place. And that's it. That's how we operate this part of the app. Again, it's a little different only because of the extra steps that you're going to have to take. You have a week or two to get actually a week. To get used to it. Just go through it. Just play with it. Get used to taking those extra steps. The camera works just like it does now. It's just that every time you scan something, you're going to have to hit it to let it know that you want to scan another item. So those are the extra steps that's going to be painful for us to get used to for right now. But once you get used to them, it's just second nature. It doesn't take much more time. Paul, is there anything that you would need to add?
No, I think you did a great job, Daran. At this point, guys, we're going to open it up to anybody that wants to ask a question. And if you just unmute yourself, instead of me unmuting everybody at once, it'll make it a little bit easier. Just unmute yourself and proceed to ask the question you may have. We've got Dean on the line and Daran and myself. So I'm sure we should be able to answer just about anything.
You would do the CEFCO drop-in orders the same way, placing an order, correct?
That is correct for right now. And so there has to be a memo in there, and I have to make sure we're able to use the memo to let them know that this is CEFCO direct instead of them having it shipped directly to us. And if we don't have that option, then we'll have to figure out a different way of doing it.
Am I unmuted? Can y'all hear me?
Yes,
We can hear you.
So my app is not hooking up to my printer. It goes forever. It says it's trying to upload, but it just doesn't.
Okay, that could be because you may have bad bars, or you may have something. When you get home, does your phone connect to your internet?
Oh yeah, to my Wi-Fi, and that's where I was last night trying to get it to hook up to my printer, but it goes forever and goes forever, and just doesn't hook up. My printer will shut off, and then it goes into error mode. I can turn my printer back on, and it goes forever, and then my printer shuts off, and it goes into error mode, and I'll turn my printer back on, and it'll go for it. It's a continuous thing. It won't hook up.
Yeah, your Bluetooth sounds like your Bluetooth isn't recognizing your printer. So
yeah. Hey Daniel, this is Dean. I saw your text come through, so I responded to it. I gave you the IT help desk number with the extension. Just give them a jingle, and they'll be able to log onto your phone and take a look and see if there's anything unique that's going on with it.
And you're using the dev.
Okay.
You're not using your SRPm app. You're actually using that SRPm DEV app, right?
Right.
Okay. Yeah, that's something that.
Yeah, I got on the phone with David last night, and he walked me through it to try to get it hooked up, and it just wouldn't.
Okay.
It wouldn't link to my printer.
Yeah.
Darren, some of the guys was able to link up, and some of them with the older printer has taken a long time to do it, but we'll work on that after we finish this up.
Okay.
Thanks, David.
Gentlemen, do y'all have any questions concerning this app and how to use it? What we're here for.
I mean, I think it's great that you guys don't, but I know I didn't do that good of a job.
Hey, I saw a message come through from Bill Long. I couldn't tell if he said he couldn't print or couldn't speak.
I can't seek. I don't know.
I sent a text to all the guys to unmute. he might be struggling with that at the bottom because you got to tap at the bottom to bring it up.
Okay, I can get a hold of Bill later. I can call him personally.
Darren, can you hear me?
I got a question.
Nope. Go ahead, somebody.
Go ahead, Jared.
Hey, first time caller, long time listener. Hey, got a question. So when Megan's on your case about a missing invoice, how would we go back and print an invoice from a store, not from, that she needs?
Okay. You should be able to pick it up from Daily Summary, isn't it?
You have an invoice history. And I don't know if we had some in here. I'm trying to go back to take a quick look here. Well, I'm gonna do it this way just for fun. So the guys can.
Oh, I see what you're saying. When you go back to an actual store,
Yeah.
I thought we were able to pick that up from orders. That's why I was asking.
Yeah. Yep. Hang on one sec, guys. We got a dog helping us out today. So.
Oh yeah, let me.
Well, that's all right. You're fine. Okay. Oops. Oh man. There you go.
That's what I guess it'd be, but she'd be calling you if something from not from that day, but from weeks past, correct?
Yeah, print a previous invoice.
Yeah. So if you go to a store, is there a way to print a previous invoice from any given store, or do you have to go all the way into it to pick it up?
So Darren, what's going to happen is if you go back to the store list or the route list, what's going to happen is one more back. Yeah. Eventually, when you have your route here, let's say you see that end mark number 120D. Eventually, when you tap on it and you get that store info page, go ahead and tap on it. There's going to be an item in there that says order history, and you're going to be able to see like the last 3 months of invoices and credits on there.
Okay. And then that way you'll be able to pick it up that way.
That's correct.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay. So Jared, yeah, we just don't have that much. We just don't have any history inside this app so we go back and trace it.
Correct.
Thank you.
Darren, David Massey
Thank you,
here.
long-time listener.
Yes, David Messy.
Did I miss where y'all were talking about being able to scan?
Yep, go ahead and hit that green action button, and I'll take you right over. Let's get to a store, and I'll show you the 6 ways you can input items. So once you get in there and you actually go into your, whether it's delivery or credit, doesn't make a difference. And once you're in there, see where that plus is? If we hit that plus, it'll tell you that you have 6 different ways to scan or input product. The third one down is it's a scanner. We don't use that. We want to use the one that says camera. Is that one right there? The fourth? Yeah. So if you hit that, it'll actually bring up your camera to scan your barcodes.
Okay.
Okay.
It's
And
working
then,
now.
but yeah, and then once you hit it though, and the thing that's really going to grate on you is that once you scan one item, it's going to revert back to that screen. And so you have to hit the scan again, and you have to tell it every time you want to scan something. Now, we put our 2 cents in, so we're hoping that IT will listen to us. But to keep that screen live and let us tell it when we don't want it to do it anymore versus us telling it that we want to do it every time. But, again, it's just something for right now. Just continuously, every time you scan something, then you hit that button so you can rescan another one and then hit another one so you can scan it again.
Got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Is there anything else out there, guys?
Darren, I see that there's a message from, let me see if I can.
From Bryce?
Yeah, from Bryce about reopening. Yeah, the way that you do it is, Paul, would you go to the main nav drawer?
Yeah, we'll just do a no product needed on that store so we can get out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to just complete it. Yeah.
Doesn't look like we have any products that we can restock this time.
Should be able to go. Okay.
Well, if you say you weren't even out of the store yet, if you go ahead and you could do multiple invoices, just hit DSD again and just start another invoice.
I thought the question was is once you finish the store.
Yeah, once you finish the store, yeah. Even if you finish the store, just hit any of those stores now.
So go back to the route. So just tap on route.
And then hit any store you want, and it'll ask you a question. Do you want to open up a revisit?
Tap on any green store. Yeah, any of the closed store. Yep.
See where it says reopen visit? You can do that now and just reopen a visit from any store that you've done. So if they have asked you to go back, or if you finalize the store and you find out that you want to, you forgot something, you can now go in there. You don't have to call IT. It just brings it up. You'll just have to go through the same motions to start a new invoice. Hit the 3 bullet points to put up the action. You just have to tell it why you're doing it. That's all. So Bryce, I hope that answers your question. Thank you for typing it in.
Dave Massey again.
Yes, sir.
When do we start using this app? Whenever we get the new phones?
Well, you should have already been on this app. This was live last week. I'm surprised you haven't used it yet. No, I'm kidding. We are planning on having this app go live June 4th. So for the next 10 days, just continuously get on this app. Go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Get used to how to skip a store. Get used to how to reopen a store. Get used to just doing a store, seeing what it is. The only thing that I don't want you guys to pay a lot of attention to is the income screen. The only reason why we have to do the income screen is because that's the only way we can close out a store.
Yeah. And Darren, we will be emailing a thank you for attending email. And in that, there will be a link to a YouTube video that will allow them to see.
You see in here the same thing that we just did today, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. All right. And again, guys, I know this is going to be clumsy and everybody's going to have some questions. Just give your RMs a call. They've been on this and they've done this for a little bit longer than everybody else. If they can get you the right answers you want, just give me a call and we'll be able to get it. I just want to make sure that come Monday, the 4th, we're able to log in and we're able to go through it step by step.
And just a pointer or just a tip, you'll be able to, if you have email on your computer or if you have a different phone, you can open it up and watch the video on your computer while having SRPM Dev open on your phone. So that way you literally can pause the video and do the same step on your own phone. And we've had some people that have just gone over it a couple of times. And then once they go through what we've done, then they can go back through and then kind of start doing their own experiment, their own practice.
All right. If that's all for you guys, that's all I have for you. I do appreciate you guys taking time. I know it's I hate doing it in the middle of while you're in there doing a store or whatever have you, but appreciate you guys taking time out, listening to this. I know it's like I say, get in there and get practice on it. Just play with it over and over and over. And it does get a lot smoother. It does get a lot easier. I didn't like it at first, but I I got down to the point where I have no problem signing in. I don't have any problem scanning in. Just take a few products out of the truck and just continuously do it, and you'll see it. The benefits of this, we won't recognize as we start blending our companies and blending our service staff into it a little bit more. You'll see why we're doing it, because this is why we're doing it. It's not just for us, it's for all of us, like the 500 that will be on it sooner. So realize that. Any questions you have, make sure you give me a call if you have any other questions.
Nope, great job, Daran, and encourage everybody to just keep practicing on it right up to the 4th.
All right, sounds great. All right, guys, sign off, and hey, get back to work. Paul, is there anything you need from me?